Hi everybody, happy Friday, Doreen at Door Designs. On today's tutorial, I'm going to do a design that I have made over the years, made several of them, and I actually sell out every year, and I had to turn some orders down because I couldn't find them. So as I'm cleaning out my back room, when I got clear to the back, I discovered I had two more, and I thought I had some more, but I couldn't find them. So it does pay to keep organized. I went ahead and made one. And then we're going to make the second one on the tutorial. So it is the Burlap Bumblebee. And these are as cute as can be on your front door. I've done the bees. I've done the ladybugs, ice cream cones, you name it. I've pretty well designed on these burlaps. They're nice and lightweight. They're made on a grapevine base with the metal. And like I said, it's just burlap that's been painted. And I will say when you get them, they're not perfect by any means. So you can kind of see how it's just stitched all the way around. But I will say they are as cute as can be, and they're fun and easy to make. So we're going to do a bumblebee on today's design. So this is what I made on my subscription group for their tutorial this morning. And it's just got the big rabbit ears, and I got those at Randolph Mercantile, which is a local store here in town, and we just did a nice full springy look. I've been at Sherry's all week because it is her spring open house. And it's one thing I thoroughly enjoy is working her open houses and stuff. And Sherry and the team have done an amazing job. If you're within driving distance of Moberly, Missouri for Randolph Mercantile, it's worth making the trip because her store looks amazing for spring. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get started here. So what I did is I took a little piece of styrofoam, and all I did was ran a zip tie from the back to the front, and I zip tied it down. And this is going to help me put in some of the florals and stuff, because you can get some of the florals going through the grapevines here, but it gets pretty tight pretty fast. So by having this little piece of styrofoam, it really helps when you're wanting to stick in your greenery and your bow. So I'm going to go ahead and put a few pieces of our greenery in, then we're going to add our bow, and then we're going to add some more flowers. So I'm just going to use this greenery here, and several people have asked me, do I use plastic flowers? I do at times, not always. I try to go for a better quality or look to it, but there are times when greenery like this is really good, especially on designs that are going to be outside or out in the direct sun. It really holds up well. So this is what we're going to be using today. So I'm just going to cut a few pieces. So when I'm looking at greenery that is plastic, I do try to look for stuff that looks more natural, because you can find cheap plastic that looks like it, or you can find a little bit better quality. I think these came from Hobby Lobby, but I don't have a number because it's been cut off. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm just taking the ends of my stem, dipping them in my electric skillet. I keep my temperature about 325, and I use Gorilla Glue sticks. So I'm just putting a piece at the top and the bottom of each side of the styrofoam. And I think I'm going to go ahead, I've got a piece left. I'm going to put a piece coming straight down, but I'm going to cut it back just a little bit. We want our bumblebee to be nice and full. Okay, so there is our first layer. Whoops, there's our first layer. Okay, next, I'm going to put a few of these white flowers. And I'm not sure where I got these from, because the tag doesn't say. You know how you try to keep track, but you buy so many different florals and greeneries from so many different places. It is really hard to keep track of where all the different greenery came from. Okay, I'm going to use white because I want it to kind of give it some pop and some brighter colors, so everything is not just the Bumblebee colors. And kind of the exact same thing. So let me cut 2 or 3 pieces off. Okay, on these, when I'm putting them in, after I put them in, I'm going to bend them up a little bit because I want my design to kind of come out and not just lay flat. And we'll put in one more. If I have a bush where I know I'm not going to use the entire bush, I typically tend just to cut stem by stem or 2 or 3 stems and leave the rest attached, because this is much easier to store back in my containers if it's not in small pieces. Okay, here is our second layer. And see how they're coming out away from the bee? Okay, I'm going to do my bow next. I'm going to see how much space it takes up, and then we're going to kind of fill in around the bow. So I just grabbed some bee ribbon, and we're going to make a nice simple bow. I want some of my tails to come up, so I'm going to start with this tail coming up and pinching it there. And I'm just going to take it down, make a loop, twist it, and make a loop at the top. And it's just about the right size that I want. The next one I'm going to use is honeycomb ribbon. This ribbon came from Craft Outlet, and the number is, if I can read it, 41328-08-15. And this one, I need to have my readers here. This one is 41268-08-48C, and it's just the honeycomb ribbon. After I post this, I'm going to check those numbers since they're so small, and I'll put them in my tutorial, in the notes, the comments. I'd hate to give you guys the wrong number. Okay, we're just doing the same thing. Tail up, making my loop, twist it, and making another loop. And then my last one is a bee also, but it's got the sunflowers in it, or the daisies. This one also came from Craft Outlet. As you can see, I buy a lot of ribbon from Craft Outlet. They're a great company to work with. Their customer service is great. They ship super fast. And I'll have to admit, I don't want to jinx myself, but I have never had an issue with Craft Outlet. I do buy from other places, but I will say that's probably been my main go-to. Okay, let's check out the size of this one. Looks nice and full, so I'm going to take a zip tie. With a floral pin. So I'm going to put my zip tie down. I'm not going to secure it super tight yet. want to make sure I've got all my ribbons facing the way I want. And then I'm going to take a floral pin and I'm going to put it underneath my zip tie. Now I'm going to pull it tight. So what this does, it gives me the floral pin, and this is what I'm going to stick through my styrofoam to attach my bow. So I'm going to carefully dip it in my glue. I want to push it a little bit farther down. There we go. And we'll trim back some of our tails. Let's go ahead and dovetail our, cut this one a little shorter. You've got your bow attached. Okay, let's add some flowers in through here. I'm going to go grab one thing of flowers real quick that I've just decided that I want to put into the design. I may add a couple of these before I'm done, just to kind of make it a little different from the other one. Okay, I'm going to use this one that's got the yellow flowers. This one did come from Hobby Lobby, and it is number 1888627. It comes in several colors: white, pink, purple, yellow. I think that's all the colors that I have it in. The only thing that could make it better is if it was just a little bit fuller. It's a pusher. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm putting them in the styrofoam, but then I'm going to bring it forward so it starts to come in through my ribbons. So let's get a few more pieces here. And I'm going to go all the way around my bow. I'm cutting each of these pieces into two. We'll add a few on that side. Okay, see how the yellow is coming through each of the loops over here? We're going to add some more. So now I've got white, I've got yellow, we've got the green. I want to add some brighter colors. So I'm going to use this bush, and I got it from a wholesaler. And I will say, I'm going to try to see if I can start getting some extra when I order and put it in my shop, because a lot of you are wanting to use some of the exact same florals. What's nice about buying stems and bushes like this, it's already got a lot of the work done because it's already got colors that are matched with the greenery. So it kind of takes some of that work out of it, of which flowers. And I will say, it kind of takes you out of your own comfort zone, because you've got burgundies, you've got orange, you've got pinks, you've got yellows. So we're going to cut this back a little bit. And I'm actually going to use my pick machine, because this is so thick at the bottom, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to put in it, but I want to put some coming out. So my pick machine is a steel pick machine. You can get it at Hobby Lobby. They are kind of expensive, but if you do a lot of florals, it's, in my opinion, well worth it. So what it does, it puts a pick on the end, and I will say it is super sharp. Okay, so look how that one piece really brightened up that side. So it's not going to take much florals, and that's what I'm saying. When you buy stems like this or bushes like this, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. You always want to make sure you separate them, because when they come, they're all smooshed down. And we're going to cut some of it off. And I'm going to do the exact same thing over here on the other side. I want to keep it nice and loose, because we want it to be kind of flowing. Like when it's on your front porch and the wind starts to blow a little bit, you can kind of see your beautiful flowers and stems kind of moving. So see how that really just brightens up that black and cream polka dot over here? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a few florals and put them right here in the middle, because I kind of have a dark space here and one up here. So we're going to kind of brighten that up a little bit. I'm going to take this down in here a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to just cut this up a little bit. It's the last little piece of this stem. I'm going to take it down just a little bit. It's a little bit too big. Okay, for this one, I'm actually just going to glue it right down the middle in my ribbon. As soon as I decide for sure which pieces I want. I think I like the berries. Yep, berries it is. Okay, I'm just going to hold that for a minute. I'm going to add one more little piece and I think we're done. I want one little piece coming up the back of the bow. Let's take off our glue strings. And we are done. Now, I don't think you can get much springier and summerier, I guess that's a word, summerier, more summer, than this bumblebee with the bright colors. So once again, the base came from Craft Outlet, and that's, like I said, it's probably been 2 years ago or so. And then we put a little piece of styrofoam and zip tied it to the middle of the bee. And then we put some of our dark green going all the way around it, added the bow, and then just started filling in with different florals. And it's nice and clean on the back because everything is going through the styrofoam. So I hope you guys enjoyed our little bumblebee for Friday. And next week I'll be back on track with my normal schedule because the spring open house ends this weekend. So take care, have a good weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.